Alrighty, for all you folks in do-it-yourself land, just picked up this Squier P-base for a pretty good deal, and want to change that pick guard to a black one, but because I'm a do-it-yourself guy and somewhat frugal, I'm gonna try and just make it black with this here hammered black Krylon finish. I've had good results with that on plastic, but the key is going to be in the preparation. So I'm going to have to take that off, remove all the plastic film. I'm going to have to lightly scuff it up because it is just a smooth, glossy plastic. And even though the spray paint says you don't have to, I'm going to do it anyway because the better you can prep, the better the results. And if it comes out like garbage, I'll wind up spending the money for a better black pick guard or black type pick guard in the future when I go to change out those pickups. So I'll spare you the details of taking everything apart and removing it and scratching up the plastic and painting it coat after coat after coat, because multiple light coats is the best way to do it. And I'll just do like a before and after, and we'll see how the results look. All right? Keep you posted. I'll give you a quick look here. This is the reason why most of us change these bridges. They're functional, they do the job, but they're unreliable. And you can tell by the spacing between the strings and the pole pieces. When I first got this base, this string was good. This one was over here, like that. And these two were over here, like this. And that's because the adjustment screws that adjust the height of the saddles don't sit in any kind of groove to keep them from moving back and forth. So literally, this saddle should be here so that the string is more evenly spaced between the pole pieces. So that's got to go. I'll change that out to a black hip shot. Real quick, don't take out all the screws from the pick guard before undoing your retaining washers and screws from the pots and from the jack. You're going to need an 11 mil wrench for the pots, and you're going to need a 12 mil for the input jack. I'll keep you posted. All right, so here's the inside of a Squier P-base. Look at this, the bridge saddle, still right where I left it. That one's hard to move. Anyhow, it's actually nice to see that they did put the shielding paint throughout the entire cavity. However, if you do any kind of research, you come to realize that they almost might as well not even bother, because the shielding paint is garbage. And if you're going to do it, you should do it right. Shielding, to be done properly, has to be everywhere, and it's supposed to touch over the tops. There's supposed to be a little bit of shielding that comes over the top edges, around the pickups, around the entire, whatever cavity you're shielding, it's all got to be conducive. So just having this little bit of tape right here, that doesn't do diddly squat. All right, if the tape had actually continued and gone all the way around the entire pick guard, that would be a different story. So when I go to change these pickups, it's all going to come out. It's all going to get shielded with the copper foil tape. Everything's got to touch, right? The inside, the sides got to touch the bottom. The bottom and the sides got to wrap over the top, and everything that sits on the top here has to touch all of the shielding that's put on the bottom of the pick guard over here as well. So whether that happens with this pick guard or not remains to be seen, but we'll cross that bridge later on when we come to it. All right, hang tight. Yeah, don't be lazy, folks. When the pick guard is off, take the opportunity to clean it up, because it's disgusting underneath there, because these are just factory produced pieces of equipment. So look at that. That's like some sort of like finger snot gack that came off of one of the workers on the assembly line. There was dust. The bottom of this pick guard is filthy, disgusting. So, you know, one of the age-old truisms, right? Like, take care of your equipment and it'll take care of you. So before this pick guard goes back on, this is all going to get wiped down, cleaned. I might even have to try and suck some debris out of the control cavity with a shop vac or something. But anyhow, just figured I'd throw that in there. Another little something to look out for is these little burrs that get left on all of the inside edges of where they drilled and countersunk the holes for the screws and the tone and volume pots and the input jack. They've all got like little rough edges, and sometimes if you just take a small round file or even the edge of like a flathead screwdriver or something with a sharp 90-degree edge, and you just kind of run it on an angle around, it helps take all that stuff out of there. Like I said, you know, I'm not expecting anything grand because I'm just going to be spray painting this, but you see that? You got to take off all those little burrs that are sitting there along the edges of wherever they routed out and drilled any holes and along the edges. Once I get done doing that, I'm going to rough up the whole top surface and the beveled edges of this with probably like maybe like a 320 400 grit sandpaper, and then wipe it all down with alcohol really good to get it as clean as possible, and then we'll start shooting it with the paint. Alright, so this is kind of what I'm going for. You can see that it's not really reflecting the light so much anymore, because that smooth polished finish has been roughened up. See if I can focus in on this a little bit. See all those tiny fine scratches? Wound up using a 220 grit. I didn't have any 320. I had 400, and I felt the 400 was going to be way too fine. So you can barely see reflection anywhere on it. Now, you're not really going to be able to get into those countersunk areas where the screws are, and that's fine, because even if the paint doesn't stick that well in that area, no one's going to see it anyway, because there's going to be a screw in there. But you can see here, you really want to get some scratched rough surfaces as uniform as you can throughout the whole surface of the pick guard that you're going to paint. I went around and I removed all those burrs from along the edges. I did go along the beveled edge of the pick guard as well. You probably can't see it too well, but if you just follow that angle with the sandpaper while you hold it, because I did all this by hand, I didn't use a machine on it. Keep the pick guard on a flat surface that you can work on, right? Because if you try just holding this in your hand while you sand it, you're going to wind up cracking it or snapping it or lousing it up somehow, more than likely. I'll get rid of that, and then it's on to wiping it down and getting it cleaned up and shooting it with some spray. This is what we're going with, folks. Isopropyl alcohol. I'm going to soak this onto a clean terry cloth towel, wipe it all down nicey nice, and then start shooting it. So, a word to the wise, if you're going to take on an endeavor like this, bonding wire or lashing wire and some gloves are your best friend in this process. And follow the directions on the can. Do multiple light coats, 15 minutes apart, at least 2 or 3 light coats in the beginning before putting a good even layer on. And don't rush it, because if you can't find the time to do it right the first time, how are you going to find the time to do it again? All right, hang tight. All right, we got the first light coat of hammered black finish. And actually, this you only have to wait like a minute in between light coats. And I got a nice place for this to hang and dry in the fresh air from the door in the garage. So I think it's actually going to come out half decent. Stay tuned. Yeah, quick look at the second coat. Starting to get a little more uniform, but still a few small spots to have to fill in. Not too shabby. So that's gonna do it, folks. This was like 4 to 5 coats. You could see it gives it that hammered, dimpled look. High gloss, black. It almost looks sparkly when it moves, but there is no sparkle in it. That's just the multi-reflections coming off of that hammered finish. Listen, is it as exquisite? No. Is it like top of the line? No. But for $8, you take a plain, 1-ply, generic white pickguard and you snazzy it up a little bit, if that's even a word. When this is dried in 24 hours, I will put it back together again and show you what it looks like back on the base. Till then, hang tight. Alrighty, folks. So here we go. It's been about over 24 hours now. The paint is fully cured. I did accidentally touch it prematurely and left 1 or 2 small fingerprints, but they're kind of hard to see, so it's not enough for me to fret over and wind up redoing or spray painting another coat over it and having to wait that much longer before putting it back onto the base. It's good enough for me. This is kind of an up-close view of what the hammered textured finish looks like. It turns out there actually is a little bit of sparkle to it if it's in really bright light or sunlight. Otherwise, it's basically just going to be, from a distance, a black pickguard. And that's really all I was going for. In the not too distant future, when I upgrade the electronics and the pickups, I will be more than likely installing a new pickguard, as well. Word to the wise, one thing I didn't pick up on when I was in the store was this. Look at that string tree. That is just god awful. That will have to be corrected. I will have to reset this thing probably a little bit closer to the A string tuning post. Fill in the original hole that was drilled and center this a little more properly. But this will be changed out to black hardware as well. But, you know, just something to watch out for. It's not a be-all, end-all. Most of us who buy these economy bases. Buy them with the pretense that we're going to be upgrading a lot of this stuff anyway. So that's pretty much it. Give me a few seconds to get this freshly painted pickguard back onto the base, which has now been wiped down and all the effluva, cleaned off of it. And we'll do the before and afters and then wrap this thing up. Hang tight. Oh, and just another quick update. If you're not careful, you will get overspray all over the back of the pickguard. This is after it's been wiped off with some odorless mineral spirits and again some isopropyl alcohol just to clean it all off, so that after I reaffix it to the body of the base, it doesn't inadvertently stick a little bit to it. Another thing is, took a black Sharpie marker and for shits and giggles colored the screws going back. That'll go back into the pickguard. So we'll see how that goes. All right, hang on. Okay, so there it is. The newly painted pickguard in Krylon hammered black finish. Give you a close-up. Kind of about what it looks like. Still got to put the knobs back on, which are silver, but that'll be okay for now until I change out everything on this. Workbench is a mix. It's a mix. It's a hot mix mess. Had to adjust the truss rod, but she's good to go. In tune, intonated, ready to rock. With a snazzy new pickguard. Check that out. Not too shabby. $8. Do it yourself. Save a few dollars until you're ready to spend just a little bit more on something a little better. Whatever your heart content. Anyway, there you have it, folks. Give you a sound sample at some other time. Till then, be good.